to all of the Debian Linux users out there who have been struggling to find a new home after Debian Linux doubled down on crazy wokeness over the last few months. I mean, it's been nuts. They left X in this big old tizzy. They started screaming about diversity and something about gender, and they even came out and they have a thing where they have an internship program, but they don't want straight white men to apply for the internship program, or straight Asian men or straight white men. They don't want to be part of Debian Linux for some reason. And this obviously has made a whole lot of Debian Linux users kind of annoyed and been struggling to find a new home to be in. And they've seen at least one other Linux distribution come out and say, hey, we're not woke like that. We just want to focus on the code. And that, of course, was Open Mandriva back at the beginning of January. And since Open Mandriva came out and said, hey, we don't do the politics thing. We're not left, we're not right, we're not up, we're not down, we're not whatever. We just focus on the code. And if you've come and hang out with us and focus on the code, we're going to get along just fine no matter what our personal politics are, right? How glorious is that? And since Open Mandriva came out and did that, interest in Open Mandriva shot through the roof. I mean, by every measurable measurement you can have, it went crazy through the roof. And it wasn't because the Lunduke Journal covered Open Mandriva. I cover all sorts of software projects that don't benefit from it. It was because there was a pent-up demand for people to find systems that just weren't going to get super crazy woke political. They just wanted to focus on the friggin' software. So all of these Debian users were kind of left in the lurch, though, because, well, they've been used to apt and all the other Debian tools for years. They didn't want to leave all that behind and move to Open Mandriva. By the way, I did. Open Mandriva is fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. But then something happened this morning. The Devuan team made a public statement. Now, Devuan came out with a fork of Debian about a decade or so ago that was without systemd, right? It was Debian without systemd, and there was other changes as well, but that's what really got them a lot of attention. Well, they came out with a statement today that really caught my eye, and I'm just going to read it to you now. Quote, "We have almost no code of conduct. Devuan welcomes everyone looking for a stable Debian. We don't care about ideologies and groups of people. We care about stability and security of our operating system. New developers are welcome to help with the next stable release." And I thought, well, I like that. I like a software project that's like, I'm not going to worry about groups and ideologies and political stuff. I just want to focus on the software. So I looked into it. So what is the code of conduct for Devuan? Well, I'm going to read it to you now. It's got 5 points, and it was inspired by No Code of Conduct. If you go to nocodeofconduct.com, you can find the inspiration for it, but it's got 5 points. Number 1, the forum welcomes all those who come in peace to support the Devuan project. And I checked with them. This is not just for the forum, it's for the project as a whole. Number 2, responsible behavior based on a foundation of mutual respect is expected from visitors to this forum. Number 3, if chaos erupts from forgetting the above, we will lock or ban our way to a more harmonious and productive environment. Number 4, we accept everyone's contributions. We don't care if you're liberal or conservative, black or white, straight or gay, or anything in between. In fact, we don't bring it up, nor should you. Number 5, brilliant. Number 5, remember, this is a meeting place for professional admins as well as a rainbow of users who all share a love of Linux, so please play nice. That's it. That's the whole code of conduct. And while, in my opinion, it's a bit longer than it needs to be, I mean, it could be shorter. It's still pretty gosh darn nice. How many codes of conduct have you seen where they specifically say, hey, if you're a conservative, you're welcome? hey, if you're straight, you're welcome. I've seen lots of codes of conduct that specifically spell out, hey, if you're LGBTQ, if you're BIPOC, etc., well, we especially like you, but if you're a white man, you're not allowed to be an intern in our project, blah, 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 right? Those sorts of codes of conduct are legion within the software industry. But this one specifically says anybody, conservative or liberal, black or white, straight or gay, whatever. I love that. Now, this is based in part, it's a modified version of No Code of Conduct. NoCodeOfConduct.com. I'm just going to read it to you now because it's super simple. No Code of Conduct is a groundbreaking new idea designed to help you find communities and projects that will not get stuck endlessly debating how members should behave in their communities, only to be found to never be fully resolved to anyone's liking. What if we just all agreed? Number 1, we are all adults, capable of having adult discussions. Number 2, we accept everyone's contributions. We don't care if you're liberal or conservative, black or white, straight or gay, or anything in between. In fact, we don't bring it up or ask. We simply do not care. Number 3, nothing else matters. 3 points. I love this. I love the No Code of Conduct. That's great. That's fantastic. Now the code of conduct here for Devuan Linux, Devuan. You can go to devuan.org for the distro. It's listed on their forum, and it specifically mentions their forum. So I'm like, well, does it really apply to the whole project? So I reached out to ask, and that's when it got awesome. Is that code of conduct just for the forum or the whole project? I like it, by the way. That was my message, right? They responded promptly. Hi, it applies to the whole project. We also like your podcast! ! Oh yeah, that's right. Devuan Linux not only has a code of conduct that specifically says, hey, if you're conservative, you're welcome. Straight, you're welcome. White or black, you're welcome. Fantastic. Everyone's welcome. Beautiful. But they also like the Lunduke Journal. Oh, man. 2 things are going to happen at this point. Number 1, Devuan is going to get yelled at. There's going to be people specifically on Mastodon. We're going to start yelling about Devuan Linux now. Those people are probably going to call Devuan Linux a bunch of Nazis or something like that. Because what did the Devuan Linux folks do in order to deserve that? They were like, hey, everyone's welcome. Because that's what a Nazi does, right? Nazis were famous for saying everyone's welcome, conservative or liberal, straight or gay, black or white, whatever. That's what the Nazis did. But that's not going to stop the people from trying to call Devuan's people fascists or Nazis or transphobes or something, right? They're gonna come up with something to call them. And the second thing that's going to happen is people are going to go, say what now? A Debian fork that is accepting of everyone and isn't crazy woke and focused on weird politics and it instead just focuses on the code? Yes, please sign me up. Interest is going to skyrocket. Guarantee it. Oh, just knocked my mic. I got so excited. My hands are flailing around. I just smacked my microphone. People are going to get excited about it. Guarantee you, just like we saw with Open Mandriva, we're going to see a spike in Devuan Linux because this is something people have a pent up demand for. People are yearning for this because most people, most systems administrators, most software developers, most just Linux users, they don't want to get caught up in the crazy woke political nonsense. They just want to use a great system. And if they want to contribute to it or ask questions or submit bug reports or whatever, they want to feel like, hey, I'm going to be not harassed for going and being there because of the color of my skin or my politics or whatever. Devuan seems great in that regard. Now, I'm not currently running Devuan. I have tested it out plenty of times in the past. I'm currently running Open Mandriva and loving it. But you know what? If you are a Debian user or an Ubuntu user or some other Debian-based distribution user, and you're like, you know what? I really want a decidedly non-woke system. Check out Devuan. Let me know what you think. I want to hear from all of you guys to let me know what you think of this. Over the next week or so, I'm going to sit down and fire up a current build of Devuan Linux on Devuan 5.0 being the current stable release on one of my laptops here and really take it for a spin because this is fantastic. So kudos to the folks over at Devuan for coming out and making this sort of statement. It is fantastic. It feels good. More distributions should do this. Please, if you're out there, if you're a Linux distribution and you are decidedly non-woke and you only worry about making great software and you don't want to discriminate a bunch of folks because they're white guys or conservatives or whatever, let me know. I want to hear about it. We'll keep a running list going of all the great non-woke open source pieces of software out there because people want to know. Thank you to the Lunduke Journal subscribers for making all of this possible. Lunduke.com. Listen to things, click on things, go to Lunduke.com and click on 5 different links. Pick them at random. They're all fantastic. And with that, ladies and how's that for a promo? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across the inner tubes, it's a good day today. I do declare and broadcast.